Happy Friday, everyone. How is it going, Juju Gang? I hope everyone's doing well. Another Friday Tesla Power Hour stream. Let me know where you guys are tuning in from in the chat. I see a lot of action actually in the chat already. I hope everyone's doing well. 132.25 sitting on Tesla. Let me read out some names and places. Mimi, how's it going? T-Mac. A lot of Juju Gang members. Look how many oranges we got in the chat here today. Those are all Juju Gang members. Lovely supporters of the channel and mods as well. Marco, how's it going, my friend? Joel, Marco, Media, DRK, how's it going? Crest, Mimi, Joe says, I tried to get the Elon haircut. Doesn't look good unless you're a billionaire. By the way, let me know if my audio is coming in clear. Okay, so we got a lot to talk about today, and I'll read out some places in a second here. And if you're watching on replay, definitely throw in the comments where you guys are tuning in from as well. Even on replay, I go back and listen and read off all the comments. But I'll kind of give you the table of contents for the day, shall we? And I've got, hold on, I've got two chat boxes here. Let me just turn off one of them. Keep that one. Okay, I think we are good on the chat box. Okay, so table of contents, agenda for the day. First, I want to go through the market options order flow. It looks pretty strong on Tesla. If you haven't seen already, we're up 4%. By the way, am I the only one that doesn't really get excited with the 4% up move anymore? It's just, you know, I guess you get greedy a little bit when you draw down this far. That's besides the point. We got some news on options that I want to go through. I've gotten, this is titled the stream, Ross Gerber sits down with Jim Chanos for Wall Street Journal and is interviewed Tesla bull versus bear. This has been going on. Yesterday, Ross debated Gordon Johnson. It's kind of been going on, but regardless, it's a 45-minute clip. I'm not going to go through all of it. If anyone knows where the spicy parts are, let me know. I'm going to probably skip 5 minutes in. Let's watch 10-ish minutes of this, and then and this just came out, right? This is fresh, so you don't have to go anywhere to see this. I don't even think this is on YouTube yet, right? Then we want to talk a little bit about CNBC price cuts and their intel into this. Piper Sandler telling people and telling investors continue buying Tesla. Tesla wait times, by the way, have gone to March and April. I don't get excited about this, folks. Come on. It's 10 days till February. Of course, this is going to get pushed out to April. It just, you know, yes, it's an update to the website. Everyone's watching it like the hawk, like a hawk, but really doesn't mean much. And then we'll go through some of Sandy Monroe's, what is it called? Analysis on margins. Whoa, what happened here? Hold on. Let me turn off one of these. Okay, good to go. And, okay, sweet. Let's talk. Okay, where are the comments? Where are the comments? Let's pull it up here. Oh, okay, wow. A lot of comments. Okay, Scotland, Cranberry. That's a nice place. Hold on. Audio good? Awesome. Thank you, guys and girls. Germany, Austria, Sweden, Scotland, Sweden, Cleveland, Ohio. You know, I realized Europe is really popular at this time of day. Ohio, Tesla, and AK Norway. How's it going? Germany, west coast of Holland. Nunavut. Are you lying, Mark? You know, Nunavut's always been on my list. Hold on, just let me know if you're not trolling. Nunavut. By the way, if you don't know where Nunavut is, I need to know if someone's watching me from Nunavut. Hold on. This is Nunavut for anyone that is curious. The closest I've been is Yellowknife. I've always wanted to go to Iqaluit. Actually, funny enough, a lot of my friends kind of poke fun of me about that. But one day I want to visit Iqaluit. But Nunavut is it's a territory in Canada, and it's officially not a province, right? I believe. And yeah, it's epically cold, epically remote, and desert. So. Interesting. That's really cool. Thanks for joining me from Nunavut, if that's indeed not a troll. Aruba on vacation? Hey, enjoy, man. And appreciate you spending some time on vacation to hang out with us. Broomsville, Colorado. Awesome. Good to hear. Compton. Let's look at options. Let's do that in a second. Awesome. Wow. Cali, Mexico, Montreal. Can't pull up everyone, but Liverpool, Amsterdam, North Carolina. Maybe so she wants to go. Been to Baffin Island. So where is that? Okay, let's get into the action, shall we? Let's do it. And so a little setting of table, setting of the agenda again. Midway through, I think I'll throw a link for the StreamYard in the chat. So if any viewer wants to come on, ask a question, give their thoughts about anything. I think last week we had a lot of fun with people coming in. So I'll do that halfway through. If anyone realizes that I forgot, feel free to ping me and I'll throw it in the chat. And it's an open floor at probably 12:30ish. 12:45 we'll play our Tesla closing price guessing game. Okay, awesome. Yeah, no, Canada is huge. Honestly, it is. It's actually pretty epic. Okay, hit like while you're watching this. Hit subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And let's get the party started. 132.30 sitting on Tesla. I'm looking at the daily, and I gotta say, the daily looks pretty juicy. I don't want to get ahead of myself, of course, but you talk about bear market rallies. You know, Tesla, yes, Tesla's up. How much is Tesla up in the, let's see, off of the lows, let's say. Tesla's up 25% off the lows. Does it feel like it's up 25%? I don't know if it does, but in the 9 trading days previous, it's up 25%. From $100 essentially off of the lows to 132 now sitting on Tesla. Juicy, yes, Juju. Yes. So, but I look at this, I look at the technicals here, and I look at the massive drawdown that we've had. The S&P 500, though, I gotta say, is approaching a very hard trend line, I should say. You can see here, it hasn't been able to crack up here in March or April. It tried again in August. It tried again in December. Very basic trend line, but it's at a pretty pivotal level. Now, do we get slapped off of this level again? Bears would say yes, and that would bring the entire market down. But let's say we break through it. I think if we break through it, we're talking 150 and upwards again on Tesla. Now, time will tell, of course, but it's just so oversold at the moment, so it's hard to say. In terms of options order flow, I said I'd get into that. These are the options. This is how the market is shaping up at the moment for market-wide option order flow. Heading into next week is looking very... I used again. It's looking very juicy. A lot of call buying going on, and you know, a lot of people were tagging me on Twitter and saying, "Look, there's a lot of in the money puts that are expiring. So if there's some rolling out to be had, potentially there's selling of puts happening today." But if you look at the market order flow, it's not so much put selling that's fueling this market wide rally. It's a lot of call buying. The green line represents calls. Going up means buying, going down means selling in terms of net deltas. And it's going up. So a lot of call buying being fueled heading into next week. And I'm not sure why. Is there anything happening next week that I'm forgetting about? All right. 132.50 sitting on Tesla, up 4.2% on the day. Okay. Let's go back here. Hold on. Okay, 132.57. We'll play our closing price guessing game soon. I'll turn this to an intraday chart so we can see some more candle action going on. Oh, earnings. I forgot I'm streaming for earnings next week. When is that again? Just kidding. Okay, Wednesday is earnings. Yes, you're right. I kind of meant market wide, but you know, I'll take the blame on that one. I should have known. Wednesday next week is earnings. But market wide, I'm wondering, do we have FOM? FOMC is not coming up till the following week, I believe. I'd have to check if there's any inflation reports coming out or manufacturing numbers or anything like that. Home sales, existing home sales data came in today, and it came in a little bit. It came in stronger than expected, which is generally not good. You know, bad news is good news in our environment right now. So Tesla earnings coming on Wednesday after hours. By the way, if you didn't hear, I'll show you now. I'll go on Twitter. I will be streaming with our friends. Farzad, Ross will be there, Matt Smith, and then Nicholas Gibbs as well from Investing Against the Grain, bottom right. We'll all be co-streaming, if you want to call it. I don't know who will be. I'll be on the whole time. I'm sure Farzad and Nick will as well. I think Matt might be on behalf of Good Soil. That's my guess. And then Ross might come in and out depending on if he has other interviews to do or whatever. What is comments. Okay, so throw in the chat. So, talk about earnings next week. What is the one metric you're looking for earnings next week? It could be EPS. It could be as basic as that. It could be revenue growth. It could be margin. That's the one for me. Throw in the one metric you're looking for. You're going to be looking at like a hawk for earnings next Wednesday. This earnings, I don't want to say it's anticlimactic, but I don't think it's going to be that exciting. I don't know. Let's highlight some comments here from the awesome folks in the chat. Okay, let me read out some comments. Where is it at? Where's my StreamYard? Okay, so guidance is Hadouken. Tesla's going to say verbatim almost, I feel like. We're expecting a long-term... Okay, they're not going to cough, but Zach will probably say, we're expecting a long-term 50% CAGR on our deliveries. I feel like that's just, some years more, some years less. Same thing. I don't think they're going to be specific on it. Margins. I'm with Boyle. I think automotive gross margin XF credits is going to be the biggest thing for me. Brand says FSD taker. I'm not sure if we're going to get that. Energy and 2023 guidance on margin. Be very surprised if we got guidance on margin, but energy is a good one, Paul. I like the energy. Everyone's talking about energy now, right? Sorry, I just came back from the sauna. I'm kind of feeling delirious, to be honest. COGS, interesting. Okay, so cost of unit per vehicle would be a good one. Energy margins. Cybertruck guidance. So this one we might actually get. It's only fair. Is it not fair to be like, hey, when's the Cybertruck happening? Like, obviously, we're seeing the Idra machine being built out at the moment in Giga Texas. Margins, guidance, energy revenue. Okay. New Twitter CEO announced. Judy, I don't think we're going to get that on the Tesla earnings though, but God knows that we all want it to happen soon. Energy. I'm concerned about COGS more than anything. So actually this relates perfectly into, let me get into this image. So if you didn't already watch, Sandy Munro had a really good video out with an epic rant is the way that he titled it, about Tesla and margins. And this is Sandy Munro's estimated cost. So in 2018, the Model 3 long range, Sandy estimated cost, its estimated cost was around $33,000, 15,000 in gross margin, so about 30% gross margin. And Tesla's maintaining those gross margins with the 2022 Model Y. And the cost for this Model Y is $40,000, and more margins out of this are 20 because it sells for about 60. Now, of course, I don't think a lot of analysts, and to be fair, even I am putting in much weight into cost reduction off of course, with economies of scale, there's going to be some level of cost reduction. I just don't know how to predict at what level we're going to see that, especially in the next quarter or two. And I just don't want to be too Pollyannish about it, right? I don't want to come out and say, look, we're going to see 30% gross margins. And, even with the price cuts, like, I just feel like that's not, we got to be more rational than that. It's better to be pleasantly surprised than to be perpetually disappointed. Life saying for me. EPS. Stefan said, what happened to Epic? Well, everyone has their own subjective meaning on that, don't they? We're expecting long-term cough. Energy, yeah, so everyone's saying energy. Let's see. Wednesday. How many semis were delivered? Yeah. Let's go in, Leslie. I think we might get answers on that. Austin and Berlin production. I think this is going to be the quarter that we hear Austin is no longer gross margin negative, because we got that story out of Berlin last time. Next gen platform, Robbie, I think we probably wait until March for that. I was going to react to the Sandy video, but of course, Blueberry Man Eating Farzad already reacted to it this morning on his stream when I was watching. So he beat me to the punch. And so I'm not going to bother doubling it up, because I know a lot of people, including myself, watch his awesome streams. Curtis says bars go up when Yash changes display tabs. 132.97. Oh, we are going up. Look at that. Look, I don't want to say correlation equals causation, because that'd be incorrect, but it's hard to deny. 12 p.m. start on Power Hour, And so far, we're up. I mean, this looks way better than it is. We're up a whopping 1%. Not bad. Bring the juju, folks. By the way, hit the like for more juju power. Forward guidance is a key metric I think you'll be taking serious. I don't think we're going to get forward guidance. When has Tesla ever been like, other than I guess last quarter, when has Tesla been like, hey, we're projecting to have exactly this much growth? Just don't think it's going to happen. Battery production, new gigafactory location. So this is an interesting one. And I think, would this not be in March 1st though? I don't know. I'll take that. Thank you, Jaybird. Dude, start eating oranges. Okay, so I was gonna bring up a couple of jujus here, and I even tweeted that out. But then I realized I haven't even had this is my breakfast. It's a protein shake. I'm breaking the fast on stream, so. All right, 132.75. And I was telling you guys, I was kind of getting delirious, lightheaded. Whenever I do the sauna, I just feel like I come out with a lot more energy, but I just feel a little bit heady, you know? Maybe I'm not hydrated enough. Or Boyle, when I used to do a chat poll to see if I should keep my lotto options or not. Remember when I used to do that? I used to have these lottos. I'm so glad I stopped doing a lot of lottos last year. You know, if you guys didn't watch, before I used to ask the chat, should I keep my lottos over the weekend? Yes or no? And I gotta say, you guys had a really, really good track record to make me more money. So Marco, awesome. Hey, awesome homework in the Discord chat. Sorry, I'm just reading the Discord chat right now. If you want to get access, if you want to join us for the best, I'm selfish when I say this, biased too, the best Tesla Discord community there is. $5 a month on Patreon or channel membership at the investor level or higher gets you access into our Discord. And by the way, there's so many members. I appreciate all of you guys' support. But connect your Discord accounts. If you don't have one and you're already a member and you don't even use Discord, trust me, you want to get Discord, you want to create an account, and you want to connect it with your membership. There's so many people that are so awesome with the support for the channel, but they don't use Discord. And I'm trying to encourage you guys to get onto our community. And remember, bring the good juju only in there. What's options pricing in for earnings? Alex, great question. Let's do that. So week of the 27th is the options chain. Next week. If we do an at the money, so the way for options that we want to look at pricing for next week is we want to add the at the money call and the at the money put. So that Tesla's sitting at 133 for all intents and purposes. We'll add in $6 here for an at the money call, $7 here for an at the money put, $13. So Tesla currently is pricing in a 10% move pretty much into earnings, a 10% move. That's the expected move. Now, if we want to look at bias, we'll go out to the one standard deviation on out the money on each side. So about the 17-ish delta. That's about $1.30 in premium on the call side. So it costs you about $130 to buy a one standard deviation out the money on the call side. And then on the put side, I make this easier here. The one standard deviation is about $2. 180. So there's a distinct downside bias baked in for earnings. Now, this obviously with earnings, you got to be a little bit careful to read into that. A lot of hedging goes on for earnings. This just in. So when we talk about puts and puts being, let's say 50% more expensive or 100% more expensive, just realize that earnings there's a lot of hedging that people do. Vern says, watching live from Champagne today. Lovely. We got people from all parts of the world. Vern, thank you for your support as always. I think that's I've never been to Champagne. I've never been to Europe. I've told you guys this. Maybe next week. I do have to. You joke about that, but if I pass out on stream, I think that might go viral. Yeah, I'm kind of glad that, a lot of the day trading stuff, it was just so mentally exhausting for me. And I, I'll be honest, like I love I still love talking about it. I still love doing it, and it's just kind of a bad habit. Um, but I just realized, like, especially last year, got so busy with work and um, so much work to do last year, especially that I'm glad the timing worked out at least where I didn't continue to lose more money past what just equity loss since last year as well, because chasing the bottom last year was not a good idea. Alex says I can't remember the last time Tesla rallied on earnings. Now, does that mean what I think it means? Okay, Stefan's calling me out on my lack of citrus. I'm gonna go get an orange. Stay with me. I'll be 10 seconds. I was called out properly. I've got the jujus on hand here. Let's see how the correlation goes. I'm gonna mark it on the Webull chart right here. It's only fair. Juju acquired. Let's just put Juju. Okay, we shall see. Correlation equals causation 100% of the time. You heard it here first. Thank you, Dukin. Yes, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Appreciate it. V says, never seen someone so serious about citrus. Well, the inception of this channel is built on Juju. So I have to be a role model when it comes to Juju. Can you juggle them? No, I cannot. Marcus says, I would like a t-shirt. Chasing the bottom last year was not a good idea. You know, Marco, I have an idea on that. And it's I want to make a shirt. Let me know if you guys would be interested in this. This is, by the way, I was supposed to come with a new design today, right? But I have an excuse. I'm revamping the site, so I spent the week doing that. But I want to make a shirt that says I survived the 2022 crash. That's kind of what I also wanted to make I survived the Twitter overhang, but I feel like that's still happening. Okay, yeah. So let's play. Let's play let's play our video of the day. Thanks for reminding me. I get too excited with the chat at all times. Okay, let's where is it? Okay. Jim Chanos, Ross Gerber. I'm gonna move. Let's see here. Okay, that's a little bit neater, I think. Let's play it. Let's see what they got to say. Okay, play it.
Let's dive right in. Jim, we have a lot of ground to cover, so I'd like you to take just 1 minute to tell me why you are bearish on Tesla.
1 minute. Huh?
Let me know if the audio is okay there.
Well, thanks for having us. As you might imagine, most of it rests on valuation. Although we have one variant perception, I think that isn't really part of the bull bear debate generally, that we point out to people, and that is that Tesla has really high risks due to its China exposure. And most of its profits, we believe, since 2019, it lost money in 2019. And as Ross and I both know, that's when the stock took off as Shanghai wrapped. That we think the vast majority of Tesla's profits and excess profits, which we'll get into, are derived from production at their Shanghai factory, which raises some really important idiosyncratic risks to the story.
Okay, how is that any different than Apple? Of course, Apple is now diversified into India, and I think Tesla's doing the same, of course, with Berlin and Austin. But I mean, like, welcome to the globalization of American companies. Like, manufacturing is done in China, so I don't know why that's a Tesla unique story.
Thank you, Ross. Right back at you. 1 minute. Why are you bullish on Tesla?
Well, as the world transitions to a clean energy and transportation future, there's only been one company that's driven this amazing innovation in electric vehicles and now in energy storage. And Tesla is this company. And over the last 5 years, Tesla went from a company that was making about 80,000 high-end EV cars to now 1.3 million mass-produced EVs that are sold globally, with 4 now gigafactories in production of these vehicles on different continents around the world. And it's become one of the most consequential companies in the world, and for the benefit of our society in making this transition to a clean energy future. So Tesla's future is so exciting and bright. I can't really think of any other company in the stock market today that has the potential of a company like Tesla.
So Elon Musk said on his last earnings call that he thinks Tesla could be worth more than Apple and Saudi.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying that video quality of Ross is not unique to you watching. It's Ross's camera on the stream. That's all I was saying.
Aramco combined, that would put it above the $4 trillion mark in terms of valuation. Ross, is that your outlook as well?
Well, that would be the best case scenario for sure. I don't actually look into the future that far and try to create valuations like that. It's more like Kathy Wood's job. I look out over the next like 1 to 3 years and determine what I think Tesla will do in something I can easily quantify. And just in the next 3 years alone, it has the potential to grow into, once again, over $1 trillion company if they achieve their business plan. So we're very excited about this ramp here in Berlin and Austin and the opportunity Tesla has to scale their production.
So Jim, Elon Musk said in May 2017, when Tesla was worth around $50 billion, that he thought it could one day be worth what Apple was worth at the time, $700 billion. He did achieve that. It became $1 trillion company. So why should we doubt him now?
Well, just to square the circle, keep in mind that when Elon said he thought it could be worth more than Apple or Aramco combined, he sold stock immediately after that. So I think that's important to note. Look, I mean, there are lots of companies that in 2021 traded at absolutely crazy valuations. I've said publicly that 2021 was the most speculative market that I've seen in my 40 years on Wall Street. Whether it was the meme stocks, whether it was SPACs raising $3 billion a night in February of 2021, whether it was NFTs, crypto prices, what have you. I mean, all kinds of companies traded at 10x what they were worth, if not more. And a lot of them went parabolic. And that started in 2019 with Tesla. So I try not, the stock doesn't know where it's come from and sometimes doesn't know where it's going, right? So we can only take a look at where it trades currently and how that reflects fundamentals. But there's all kinds of companies I would have told you, aren't worth what they were selling at. Even mighty Enron at one point traded at almost a $100 billion valuation and was probably worthless the entire time.
Yeah, but Jim, when you look at like performance of stocks, like Tesla's up 460% in the last 5 years, including this 65% decline over the last year, and now trades at the lowest multiple that it's ever traded at, and it's still growing very rapidly. Although we've had sort of these issues with China and COVID and production on the short term, there are certainly short term and solvable issues. So one would think that since it's done 10x the S&P's return in the last 5 years, why would this change? So, Tesla has proven that they can execute, and Elon has proven to be one of the hardest working, most focused, dedicated. He's a monster, Jim. Why would you bet against Elon? I mean, that's really where I'm coming from. Like, if you spent a minute with this guy, he's just unstoppable. So I just don't understand why you don't want to bet with guys like Elon and you sort of bet against them.
Though I can see where Ross is coming from, I think this is a very weak argument to come to someone like Jim Chanos with. Jim is not the type of guy to be hero worshiping someone, right? Whatever you want to call it. That's not the way he looks at the financial world. So I just don't know why this is the main argument Ross is leading with. Personally, I think the way that you really win over a lot of bears is by talking, and I'm talking the intellectually honest ones that are able to or wanting to change their mind, right, and open to it, are by talking financials and then also getting them to ride the car. At the end of the day, I think the product speaks for itself, but the financials have to do the backing. I don't think this talk of like, oh, why would you bet against Elon? Though in the bull community, I think we get the sentiment here. I don't think this is the best way to talk to someone like Jim Chanos and that type of staunch Tesla Q about it. So
well, Ross, we already did. So this is round 2 for us. We were short Solar City.
Well, that's a different game.
So this is another one, right? A lot of Tesla bears today were short Solar City. So when they got acquired, you can there's a lot of bad blood that they felt when they were short this company, and all of a sudden got acquired acquired by Tesla for what they did not they never thought it would, right? Going bankrupt or whatever, and now they got acquired, and then they were underwater on their shorts. So I think that's where a lot of the original hate really stems from.
Well, no, it isn't. It wasn't. It was an Elon Musk-backed company, and that Tesla actually bought out to offset distress. So
that's correct.
I've been there. This is round two, and you talk about the 10x, but we also conveniently forget that from 2014 to 2019, Tesla went nowhere.
That's not true. That's not true at all. Tesla went up substantially from its IPO price over the 7 years.
I'm not talking about the IPO price. I'm talking about 2014 when the flow.
Who cares? Of course, if we pick two random dates and we just put them, performance is arbitrary. Just like how we can't say in the last 2 years now performance has been awesome. Therefore, the company's, you got to look at the financials of the company and see if they've been any different, right? Thank you, Danny, for the super chat. Appreciate that.
Float increased dramatically to 2019 before it admittedly took off.
Yeah, but you're taking the 2 points in time where it was at the high and the low just to make your argument. The fact of the matter is we bought Tesla at $3 a share and it trades at $130 today. It's been the best investment I've ever made in my career besides Apple. And I don't like, you've shorted some amazingly bad companies. Honestly, you're very good at this. I just don't.
Let's
see
move on to the brunt of the margin talk.
But the car drives itself, Jim. You got to try it.
I've driven a Model S. I've driven a Model
S with full self-driving.
What? No, not full self-driving.
You got to try.
I value my life, Ross.
Come on, Jim. Come on, you're not that scared. Just go.
Ross, I want to turn to some of Elon's comments a little bit on. You mentioned it seems like you think that Tesla is a tech company, and a lot of tech companies have fallen a ton over the past year. And Elon Musk has said that the Federal Reserve's interest rate hikes are what's driven the stock lower over the past year. Jim, do you think that's the full story? Is that the only thing weighing on Tesla's stock recently?
So Tesla has gross margins at ex tax credit sales of around 25-26%. That's going to head down, as we know, with the price cuts. The industry's at 18-17. I think Tesla's gross margins right now.
He said the industry is at 18% gross margin. Forward gross margin. The industry is at 18. Okay. Ford, 12.79% gross margin. That really doesn't fit the narrative. Let's look at Lucid. Let's look at an EV manufacturer here. Lucid gross margin. Minus 152%. Okay. Let's do Ford. Let's do operating margin, right? Because that's really what 4.36%. Yes, they both sell cars. Mind you, one of them sells mostly gas cars. But the financials are really what separate the story of what we're talking about here, right? So let's go back. Let's play.
Pro forma are below 20. It is very much right. We have a spreadsheet we put up on Twitter from time to time comparing Tesla to the other auto OEMs, and it looks remarkably like the other auto OEMs, except for one thing, that their gross margins in automotive are basically 7 to 8 points higher than the rest of the industry. And with the latest price cut,
Tesla operating margin last quarter, and this obviously will go down, but it was close to 20%. We just saw Ford's was 5%, rounding up.
Cuts, that will be they'll be kind of right in line with the rest of the industry in terms of margins. So yes, it looks exactly like a car company. It does not have software margins. It has auto OEM margins. That's just a fact. But it's important to
that is not a fact, but let's move on.
To understand that, again, a huge amount of those profits and even the reduced profits we see are coming out of China. And that is a really, really important thing that people have to understand. One other thing, the market for high-end cars, and until these recent price cuts, Teslas were considered basically high-end cars, is actually much smaller than people think globally. So in the US, the demand for $50,000 and up cars is about 2 million units a year. Globally, it's about 4 million units a year. Now, of course, again, with the recent price cuts, the big part of the Tesla models are now below that. But prior to that, Tesla did an amazing job at capturing market share. But we kept pointing out to people, keep in mind, at some point they were going to hit a brick wall because they were getting to be a very, very large percentage of their actual market for luxury cars. And that's what happened before the price cuts, we think, this summer, as the book to bill has dropped to roughly 0.50. The backlog has dropped. I know that was discussed yesterday in your debate. We saw the same thing happening starting in around June. Something happened. Demand for their products began to drop well before the price cuts. And
so there's demand concerns, right? And it goes back to that 132.78 sitting on Tesla, by the way. Look, let's be intellectually honest. Of course, demand has come down. Aggregately speaking, of course. That's just, it was going to happen. First of all, I think one thing we have to realize as well as Tesla bulls is that there was a lot of scalpers last year in the car market. The car market really last year was, if you had extra cash that you could close on to buy these cars, you could get in line to buy a Tesla, wait 2 months, take delivery on that Tesla, and then flip it day one for $5,000 or $10,000 more. In fact, does anyone actually remember a couple of streams where I was complaining about these scalpers jumping in? So we talked about wait lists. Those were artificially higher than they probably should have been anyways because of these scalpers that were really front running Tesla cars to flip them on the used market. And so, of course, sorry, my laundry machine's going off. But of course, like with aggregate demand and with the recession that's looming, which, all signs are pointing towards heading towards a recession, of course, aggregate demand for something like autos is going to come down. It just makes sense. And what is not true is that Tesla will never grow anymore, I think. I don't think that's true at all. But also, we can't discount this fact, which is Tesla's at a true pivotal level here, where supply is actually, for the first time, they have no excuse with Berlin and Austin coming online fast to really start pumping out cars. And of course, price is going to vary. For context, the price for a Model 3 today is still $3,000 higher than when I bought it in December 2020, right? So early 2021, the price is still $3,000 higher. And so around then, I think gross margin ex-ZEV credits was like 23% or something like that. And of course, economies of scale, new factories, new manufacturing, gigacastings hopefully coming up, 4680s, which you definitely do have to scale up faster than we've seen it. Tesla is really approaching this pivotal level, I think, where there's no more excuses here. And that's why I tweeted on the first week of the year. I said, this is the year of execution. This is the year of execution. So I see a comment here. Hold on. Demand is dropped before because Tesla's not qualified for EV rebates. Now it's a different story. Model Y performance is reduced to 50, reduced a little bit more. It'll qualify. The rebates are a big part of it for sure. But now, as we move forward here, this is going to be a big tipping point, I think, for Tesla. If we end this year and Tesla does 10% growth, like bears are saying, or 0% growth, Morgan Stanley, Adam Jonas, they think EPS is going to shrink this year, right? If that ends up being true, we have to fully reevaluate, or at least I will fully reevaluate the thesis that we placed Tesla on with this growth story. To be intellectually honest, we'd have to. I just don't think we're going to get to that point. I still think Tesla's going to grow. And they're probably going to lower prices a little bit more even. I mean, why not? Especially if backlog in China doesn't go up. So yeah, Jan says, what's a price cut? Is it when you raise prices over 18-month period and then trim them back to the starting level? They're not even at the starting level at the moment, right? They're still $3,000 higher, specifically in my case here with the Model 3. So there's still room further down to go. And you'd hope that Tesla's costs have come down since then as well, right? Okay, this video is too long. let's go back to having some fun. 133 sitting on Tesla. Folks, we are rallying. Okay, so like I promised, I got the juju here. Correlation equals causation. We have moved up to 133.02 sitting on Tesla. Well, if you have a source for, or like which Twitter user to follow for the Elon court thing, I will. I just don't know where, because a lot of these blogs are outdated as well. Eat the orange. I would, but I'm having my protein shake right now. I really don't want to mix it up. Besides, it's working. Why mess with something that's working? We'll play our closing price guessing game in 5 more minutes. Give it 5 more minutes. Oh, yes. Okay, so now it's the time where I'm going to open up the floor for anyone in the chat that wants to hop on, ask a question, give a comment. I don't know. Do whatever they want. Well, not whatever, but let's do it. And I should probably put in my headphones because I think you guys were getting some echo from me last time. I will definitely work on that shirt, by the way. It feels like I was reading the chat when I was watching that video. It does feel like a lot of people want that shirt. Remember, nicejuju.com. Let me pull it up here. Let me plug for a second. Nicejuju.com. Use coupon code Juju for 10% off. Someone asked a couple weeks ago, I actually didn't show this. This is embroidered Juju on the hat. And hold on one second. Let me just change this to make it a little more easy for my American friends, which are the majority of the viewers. Sitting on Tesla. Someone also said I should make a mug that says sipping on Tesla instead of sitting on Tesla. Fair enough. I think that's a good idea. I think probably I should eventually. But for now, only have sitting. Maybe I'll do sipping one day. Maybe that makes more sense. Okay, we got a couple of viewers lined up here. We have Tony first, who I'm just going to let fix his camera here on the back end. Let me just fix my stuff here before I pull him up. And here is the link in case anyone cares to go buy some merch. I appreciate you guys' support. And thank you for the super chat per Johan. How many retails are red green these days in percentage? I'm very red. You mean by cost basis? For sure. Well, I guess it depends on when you trade, but trading aside, yes, cost basis is higher. And I'm going to hold on one second. Where's my thingy here? Placed pinned. Okay. I'm going to head up to Tony first. Actually, I recognize Tony, I think, from the last stream. Tony, how's it going, my friend?
Hey, Ashu, what's up, man?
Doing well. I think if my memory serves correct, you were on a couple months back, right?
Yeah, not long ago. I think I had the broken arms. Just got back from recovering from broken arms. I'm actually back at work now, just doing stuff in the office. But I had a thought, and I'm curious what you think and what other people think. And I've been trying to think about how do you go about valuing used Teslas? You know, because so much, like at least growing up, my parents told me, and I've also kind of experienced now, the way you value a used car is that at some point, it's just not worth the amount of maintenance costs that goes into maintaining them. And that's when you know it's like time to junk that 15-year-old or whatever car. But since the maintenance cost on Tesla is so much lower, like how do we go about, or how would someone who's buying one in the market for one go about valuing them, you know, outside of supply and demand factors? And it has me thinking, because there's probably like a million or somewhere between 750,000 and a million Model 3s and Model Ys like on the streets now. And because they're going to last so much longer than a regular ICE vehicle, they're going to have a long tail of second, third, fourth owners, probably. I mean, I'm sure like, even if you say like 50% of the people who bought a Model 3 or Model Y will roll with it till the wheels fall off, that's like 50% of those 500,000 that'll end up in a secondary and then tertiary market and on and on. And when I think about like Tesla building up the service, like the service department, it's also like a perfect place to just get used Model 3s or Model Ys, refurbish them. Tesla builds all their own chairs, all their own parts. So they got them at the cheapest possible price, not to mention whatever economies of scale there are in refurbishing these. So Tesla's going to have like the biggest advantage. Oh, and there's also the software stuff. They know way more about that car than any random like used car dealer. So they're going to have all these advantages for acquiring and reselling these. And I wonder if anyone's really thought about like that as part of the business model, because they're clearly going to be the preferred place for acquiring and reselling used Teslas and making whatever margin there is on there. Just curious what you think of that, or if you know anyone who's like modeled that into the business.
Well, it's no surprise. I mean, Legacy Auto, the main driver of their business is service, right? Especially when we talk about post sale, like that's how they make their money. And selling parts, especially OEM parts. I actually do have I think a decent answer on this. Thanks for your question, Tony. I do have a decent answer on this, and that's the Nissan Leaf. You guys know I harp on the Nissan Leaf a lot, and I talk about how it's residual value. I think it's the best bang for your buck, and it has been for a long time, because on the used market, and we've actually done this, you can buy a glorified glorified golf cart that is a Nissan Leaf 2011 for 7,000, 8,000 Canadian dollars. And you can, yes, not drive that thing very far. It goes maybe 100 kilometers, right? So maybe you could drive it for 1.5 days before you got to plug it in at night. But if you live in a house, you have a plug at home, and you don't drive further than 10 or 20 kilometers, it's kind of a no-brainer. In fact, that's how we got into electrification. For my mom. Okay, so my mom, she mostly works in and around the area that we live in, a 10-minute drive at most. She has to drive a lot for her job. And so we had a really old Corolla, or no, sorry, a Toyota Matrix. They had a Toyota Matrix, and she was paying like $200 a month in gas, just driving 10 minutes and then 5 minutes back, like all within the general area. And I just did the math, and I was like, screw that. If we buy a Nissan Leaf and my mom just uses it for work, immediately she saves $250 a month on gas. And yes, this Nissan Leaf only drives 90 kilometers, or I don't know, for miles, maybe it's 50 miles or whatever it is. But she plugs it in every night and she can use it every day. It immediately saves $300, basically makes it so her insurance is free, right? If insurance costs $200, now she saves $300 in gas a month. It essentially saves that for her. So, no, that's the way I look at it. And great question though, Tony. I think you signed off. And next up, we got Bahadir, friend of the show. How's it going, my friend?
Hello. How's it going?
Good. Are you feeling better now? I think you were sick last time we were talking.
Yeah, it was a weird time, but I think that it's been like 2 or 3 weeks now.
Good. Yeah.
Doing more sports to feel better even. Yeah. So yeah, sure. I was just listening a lot of stuff about Tesla energy in the last couple of weeks, and I heard some numbers to say around the Latro facility can produce 25 megapacks per day, which is around $2 million plus in terms of the revenue it generates, which means like a 50 million per day. And if you extrapolate to 30 days, that's like $1.5 billion per month. And I think if you do another 12, it's 18 billion or so, which means that it's almost the auto revenue of the last quarter. So right. I'm just wondering, what do you think about the numbers that is thrown out there? And when do you think that the Tesla energy is going to start to make really all the analysts and the others that doesn't really see the sleeping giant there? So tell me.
Yeah, Tesla energy is not. And by the way, thanks for everyone throwing in their Tesla closing price guesses. By the way, I'm going to ask you as well for your Tesla closing price guess. Everyone throw it in the chat. Remember, Price is Right rules. You have to be at or under to win the virtual Juju prize. A penny over and you can't win. Do you have a guess for us?
133.05.
Okay, I like it. So 133.20 right now. I'm gonna go all out. I'm gonna say 135 on the dot. Okay, and 133. What did you say? 133.25.
05.
Okay, I'm gonna throw your chat in the. I'm gonna throw your guess in the chat under your name. Okay. Tesla energy is super exciting, right? 25 megapacks a day, yeah, and average selling price over 2 million. The going question is margin. Everyone seems to think 50% is done and dusted. It's just hard, right? Especially when you're talking about new facilities ramping up to begin with. It's hard to say what the margin will be. Undoubtedly, there's some Tesla bears. And actually, specifically, Jim Chanos actually had a Twitter thread. I'm not sure if you saw it yesterday or 2 days ago. He was basically shitting on the Tesla Energy mega packs and saying in North America or worldwide there hasn't been more than 1 gigawatt hour installed, and Tesla bulls are getting too excited on this. I think the way to look at this though is we might not get to the 30, 40, 50% margins that everyone wants day one, but if we get a step up in margin next quarter, so if it was 9% gross margin for energy last quarter, if we start to see a material ramp up, like a 9 to maybe 15, and then a 20, and then the mega pack facility in Lathrop, as it starts to scale, 25 is a lot. That's if they sell for 2 million. And if you look at the wait list as well, I think they just got pushed out to Q4 of 2024 is the wait list. So the wait list is getting pushed out. Prices are pretty stable because Tesla pretty much has kind of a more or less of a monopoly when it comes to battery storage in North America, especially, right? There are other competitors. There will be. But I think not this quarter, but or April's earnings call that includes Q1 will be the bigger test, because correct me if I'm wrong, the IRA credits also bake into this, and that hasn't started, of course, until this year. So the earliest we would probably hear about that would be April's earnings call, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so as well. Yeah. So I was listening also like a Matt from the Good Soil Investment, and then I think if you remember a couple of weeks ago, I was talking about the Hornsdale Power Reserve in Australia, the South Australia, and wondering the recurring revenue model. And as far as I understand from what Matt was saying, that it's actually not generating that much of a recurring revenue. So it's only like a sold mega packs, and then the rest is taken care of I think Neon, the company. But I'm really wondering also how the Tesla electric is actually, or electricity or whatever it's called in Texas, and also the VPP stuff is going to add on top of the margins, because it's almost like I think I gave the robotaxi example that it just keep on generating the revenue. So what's your take on this?
I don't know enough about energy to talk sophisticated enough about it. Obviously, VPP and these software arbitrages do provide a lot of ongoing revenue potential for Tesla. But I look at it the same way. I looked at robotaxi and I looked at energy a lot more closely when we were sitting near our all-time highs, because I was like, okay, how do we justify the value? Is there a value justification for another X amount of percentage appreciation? And as we were at all-time highs, it was like, okay, well, obviously a good portion of the auto business is starting to get recognized by Wall Street now. But as we sit at, like, I don't want to say all-time lows, but let's say in 2-year lows or whatever we're at now for Tesla after COVID, it's like all I really am still focused on is auto, because of course energy can surprise, robotaxis can surprise, but I'm hard pressed to bake those in until we start seeing that actually happen. And I think the street looks at it the same way, where they go, okay, well, robotaxis are great, but wake me up when it happens, because I don't want to be the one that says I'm projecting Tesla robotaxis to happen, and then 50 years down the line, it never happens, and I look like an idiot. Is I think the way that Wall Street looks at this. Energy is obviously a little bit more believable for the street because there's other companies they can look at, like Enphase, for example, and they can say, okay, well, Tesla can add this, and it's just batteries and then packaging. But it's hard to say. I mean, at $133.32 or whatever, I just look at the auto business still, and I go, okay, auto business, if this many unit volume, this is how growth is, this is what PE they get, and this is what gross margin looks like. It's almost like a secondary thing.
I think what
at least to me.
Yeah, I think what might be also help in terms of the communication generally from Tesla is also, I don't know, expressing like how many like a Tesla Texas electric customers are there, right? Because there will be some energy analysts that can also extrapolate those values into what revenues can Tesla make. Probably they have some knowledge in terms of the operations. But let me ask you one more question. It's my last question for the day. what do you think the Q1 margins for the auto business is going to be like for the auto business? Do you think it's going to shrink like a less than 20% values?
You mean for this quarter happening right now, so April's earnings call, right?
Yeah, in April's earnings call.
Yeah, I think they're so the easy answer is I think prices are where they were fourth quarter of 2020. And if we assume costs are the same, I think we're looking at low 20s gross margin. Bears will say it's going to be under 20%. I think with economies of scale and inflation coming to, and costs of commodities that have come down, like lithium since then, since that peak bubble time, I think there's a chance 25, but I'm mentally baking in a 20% gross margin. That's my expectation. I haven't modeled anything out. I haven't looked at mix yet. I haven't seen Berlin and Austin, done all the Excel spreadsheet math. But mentally speaking, that's where I'm at with these price drops is 20% is what I'm mentally keeping as a bar, as a barometer. And then anything above that, I think I would probably just call it kind of gravy to begin with, and then hope for the best for cost reduction as the year goes on. What do you think?
So I was listening to the Corey, I think Steuben from the Munro Associates, and one great point that he made that they have a deep knowledge about is how much of a reusability of the components between the cars, right? So using the same electric motor from like a Model 3 to Model Y to especially I think the magnet motors at the back, and also even using the Model S Plaid with just a carbon cover. I think like when you add up the numbers, like if Tesla is going to order something, let's give a simple example like airbags. Like Tesla is not going to give airbag orders for like 200,000 and 100,000 or something. They are going to say, hey, by the way, we estimate that it's going to be like 2 million cars. So why don't we just say like 2 million for this year and then maybe 3 for the next year? So let's say 5. And I mean, the pricing, the negotiation power with those big numbers, it's like, as you say, the economies of scales. I think that might really paint a different picture in terms of what the gross margins might not be even affected, especially with these bigger numbers.
I try to be the yin to the yang. Sometimes in the Tesla bull community, everyone seems to think like price drops happen 16% for this model, 10% for that model, 20% for this model. Oh, and gross margins are going to grow. Like everyone, some people are saying this, and I just don't want that to be the expectation in the community. I just don't think that's healthy. Does it happen? I'd be very happy if it happens, but I think it's important to at least be reasonable with the guesses that we have. If gross margin stays the same, that's a huge win. Huge win. If gross margin doesn't take a hit, I can't even imagine how crazy Wall Street would get if that were to happen, right? Especially with the massive demand lever that they pulled. But like you said, there are cost reductions with economies of scale. Like, purchasing power is a big one. But then also just being more efficient. If you do a lot more reps of something, just stuff gets a lot more efficient. And we know that these new factories, Berlin and Austin, are not designed to be slower than Shanghai or Fremont. They're designed to be better, faster, and a lot of their learnings to come out.
Yeah, so I should also maybe mention that in Netherlands, for example, the waiting time for the Model Y for the Midnight Cherry is around 6 months plus. So
really?
Yes. So if you want to order, so if you go to like Tesla website, open the NL page, and I think Germany has also, since it's all coming from Berlin as well, it's like estimated between June and August, I think, and the Quicksilver is March. So you need to go to the Model Y long range because that's only then you can select the Midnight Cherry.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, it says June to July 2023.
Yeah. And I think it's also the same in Germany since it's coming from Berlin. So they have pretty much the same backlog. And if you click the Quicksilver, it is, I think, March or April.
Yeah, it says February to March, the Quicksilver. Why is there such a long, why is paint the hold up here for the Cherry?
I think
why
it is highly demanded. Of course, it maybe depend on their production schedules. Like, I don't know how Tesla separates the coloring and how do they do batches or so. But That's a very interesting. Like if you look at the white or the black, they are immediately available or within the January to March period.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Well, I'm gonna have to think about that. Yeah, but no, you're right. I'm looking at it right now. I just don't know why that's the case. That's such a chasm between the two. Very interesting.
Yeah. Maybe it's
awesome.
maybe
By the
like
way,
newer colors.
Yeah. That midnight cherry is beautiful. I love that color, that dark red. By the way, too bad, but you didn't win this week, Bahadur, on the closing price guessing. What 133.42 is the winner. So
maybe one small story that I should mention, if you have anything.
Yes, go ahead.
So a friend of mine, which is a very close friend of mine, which is kind of not very much a fan of Elon, and he has a BMW right now, and he was looking at the electric cars for the next period. And after the price drop, he's really into looking at the Teslas right now. So that's such a this whole brand image, like product, like people are not gonna buy
Money
Teslas,
talks.
but I mean, like the amount of like drops that we have, and then the effects on people. I think we are just gonna see those numbers in Q1.
Totally. Yep. Yeah. I agree, my friend.
Okay. Yes.
Thanks for coming on. I appreciate your thoughts as always.
No problem.
Take care. Awesome. Love Bahadur coming on. And shout out to Samir guessing 133.42, the exact closing price on the dot, my friend. Thank you for that guess. Epic. Transition. Forgot to hit that. Okay. 133.42. And that's an on the dot guess today. Let me turn off studio mode here. Don't go anywhere, folks. We have more coming your way. Hold on one second. I got a couple other videos on CNBC before everyone signs off for the weekend that I hope you can stay on with me for. I'll throw you some virtual juju your way after. The 42 was a no-brainer. Yeah, no kidding. Yes, that's a good point. Okay, let's go to this. Okay, so we're going to have to choose one. One is the CNBC panel with Phil LeBeau talking about price cuts. And the other one is Piper Sandler advising investors to continue buying Tesla. Both 2-minute clips. Let me know in the chat which one you guys want to watch. We'll pick the most popular one. I'm not going to run a poll for it. The first handful that I see that are all the same, I will pick. You could say one or two. Yeah, that's fine. So say Phil LeBeau or say Piper Sandler. Okay, everyone wants second one. Okay, I get it. Piper. Okay, I got it. Okay, let's listen to Piper Sandler. And their note about buying Tesla is what they apparently recommend right now. Again, no financial advice from me, but apparently from them. Let me know if audio is coming.
Stock I'm tracking today is Tesla, off a new note from Piper Sandler saying investors should be proactively buying at this point. Analyst Alexander Potter published a note on Wednesday highlighting the recent Tesla vehicle price cuts and the stock's downturn over the last several months as catalysts for the next leg upward for Tesla shares. Piper Sandler points out that including the $7,500 federal tax credit, Tesla's Model Ys are now far more affordable. Now, a graph in the note showed Model Ys had been more expensive than large SUVs like a Chevrolet Suburban or GMC Yukon, and are now back in the price range of mid-size SUVs like a Ford Explorer, and even cheaper than a Jeep Grand Cherokee.
This guy's better than me. This guy's holding his smartphone here as he's hosting a national news broadcast.
Piper argues the price cuts could boost U.S. demand by 300 to 600,000 vehicles. Dave, that graph really did stick out to me, though, when you talk about the fact that a Tesla Model Y was more expensive than those major large vehicles that fit 8 people.
I gotta say, I love this guy's hand movements. I love it. I love people that talk with their hands. I'm kind of like that too.
But now getting back to earth, I think, a little bit, and maybe being more competitive with some other stocks in the or some other cars in the market.
Yeah, look, you had to be nervous.
What? Why is he? Oh, you guys can't see it because the chat's in the way. But hold on. What? Why is this guy on his phone? I gotta know the reason. Wrong answers only. Why is this guy on his phone? Wrong answers only. What? Why? What's so important, my friend?
Initially about the margins and how much they would shrink with this dramatic $13,000 price cut, but it just, to your point, broadens the customer base so much and almost erases a little bit of that.
Well, this guy's on his phone too. You guys are savage with your chats. Hold on. I'm gonna go back. Hold on. She's on her phone. He's on his phone. What is happening, folks? Gen Z's taken over. You guys thought I was Gen Z. You guys thought I would stick to TikTok. Joke's on you. I don't even have TikTok on my phone. This is crazy. She's scrolling through TikTok or whatever on Yahoo National Television. This is crazy. You guys are too much. What? Does anyone actually know the answer to this? I'm sorry. I know we had to watch this Piper Sandler note. This doesn't make any sense. They all have scripts. Maybe, but I'm sorry. Do I sound like an old head? I sound like an old head. You know those oldies that are always like, you kids are always on your phones. You guys are always watching videos. I mean, that's what I'm doing right now. I get it, but this is crazy. Anyways, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to rewind a little bit here. It's a short clip. I could barely get through it. Jeez.
Even cheaper than a Jeep Grand Cherokee. Piper argues the price cuts could boost U.S. demand by 300 to 600,000 vehicles. Dave, that graph really did stick out to me, though, when you talk about the fact that a Tesla Model Y was more expensive than those major large vehicles that fit 8 people. But now getting back to earth, I think, a little bit, and maybe being more competitive with some other stocks in the or some other cars in the market.
Yeah, look, you had to be nervous initially about the margins and how much they would shrink with this dramatic $13,000 price cut. But it just, to your point, broadens the customer base so much and almost erases a little bit of that Twitter hangover. If he would.
Twitter. He just said the Gary Black keyword of the day. Twitter hangover.
Just shut up. I mean, that is the one problem. He can't get out of his own way in terms of turning off.
She's scrolling. I'm sorry. I don't mean to pick on any of these guys or girls, but she's literally scrolling. Someone's got to tell me. This chat's coming through wild. Someone's got to tell me what's happening. I don't. Does anyone even know what they said? Okay, they said something about Model Y and margins coming down. But man, I'm so distracted.
Customers, we talked about how Elon's favorability has been cut in half over the last year since he's been speaking out so politically. But yes, this opens up a whole new customer base. Ross Gerber, albeit a massive Tesla bull, said the bullish case for Tesla is now stronger than ever. And he was very critical of the Twitter situation as well. So yeah, it appears to be paying off.
Someone clipped this. This was, I don't want to say the worst, because this is I think this is the most epic clip we've ever watched on this channel together. Do I know, do I even know what they said? No. Do I care what they said? No. Let's be honest. I don't right now. Because I got to know, I'm sorry, I don't mean to beat a dead horse.
That a Tesla Model Y was...
So at this frame, everything looks great, right? Everyone's talking to each other, eye contact, national television.
More expensive
Give it one
than
second.
Those major large vehicles that fit 8 people. But now getting back to earth, I think, a little bit, and maybe being more competitive with some other stocks in the market.
She's scrolling.
Some other cars in the market.
Yeah, look.
He's holding his phone for everyone to see. I don't know. I don't know. This is hilarious. This is crazy. Once in a while, you just, life throws you. You know what? This is your guys' fault. Everyone told me to pick the second clip. It's like you knew. It's like you knew this was happening. You knew. You guys all watched this. You guys set me up for this. I just, oh my. So, yeah, someone clip this. I'll definitely tweet it out. I feel like I should tweet this clip out of this reaction. Well, happy Friday, folks. I appreciate everyone tuning in. I'm kind of upset. I wanted to clip that, make it for the weekend clip, give deep analysis on Tesla. Hey, Emmett's in the stream. How's it going? Can we zoom into what's on the screen of his phone? Wrong answers only. What's on the screen? What's on his screen? Honestly, I think that looks like Twitter. Hold on.
Bourbon or GMC.
I think that looks like Twitter. Let's see here. Hold on.
What
are we doing, folks? Once in a while, once in a while, I just catch myself and I'm like, what am I doing? All right, guys, have an amazing Friday. I hope everyone does well this weekend. Remember, throw away your phones. It's so ironic. I have to go through my speech now after what we just witnessed, but put away your phones. Have Have a great weekend, everyone. Take care. Much love. Yashu signing off. I'll catch you in the next one. I was going to clip some stuff off, but I'm not even sure if I clip this off. I think people would actually be upset if they watched this. Okay, much love. Okay, take care. Take care, everyone. Subscribe on your way out. If this is your first time watching this channel, it's not usually such a gong show, I promise. But hey, we had a good time. Okay, take care. Yashu signing off. Peace. What was I gonna say? Oh man, I just got thrown off. Oh yes. Prioritize your mental health, physical health. Go for a walk. Do some exercise. Do whatever you need to do to prioritize your health. Okay? I think that's the last thing I had to say. Take care. Thanks for the support, everyone. Much appreciated. Peace.